News, three news stories. Firstly, Tariku Gankisi, Ethiopian singer who delivered a message of peace a few days ago during a rally in Addis Ababa. Just a few hours ago, he appeared on a TV channel. He broke into tears and it seemed as if he was apologizing. Very moving scenes that we saw a few hours ago. Why is he so down? Why is he apologizing? If he is apologizing, was it an apology? We'll talk about that. Secondly, Ethiopian PM Abiy just a few hours ago held a telephonic conversation with Justin Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister. Important thing is that after this telephonic conversation, both prime ministers issued statements. The statements do not match with each other. We'll talk about that. And lastly, viewers, Dr. Tedros a few hours ago talked about humanitarian situation in Ethiopia. He said Tigray was under a systematic blockade. But he quoted some numbers which I find hard to agree with. The number shared by Dr. Tedros of IDPs, of affectees of this war, do not match with the numbers being shared by Amhara regional government. We'll have a look at that too. Firstly, viewers, Tariku Gankisi, Ethiopian singer, Dishtagina, a famous singer, he appeared in a rally a few days ago in Addis Ababa. At the rally, he was due to sing a song to mobilize people, but there he delivered a message of peace. He called upon the youth not to join this war. He had said that the elders should go and negotiate. Since then, he has been under pressure. Though he has been trying to hold on to his position that this war should come to an end, that youth should not join this war. But he was under pressure. And a few hours ago, he appeared on EBS, a channel, a TV channel. And there he broke into tears. It was as if he was apologizing for what he said. Very moving scenes that we saw on EBS. But Tariku's call should be reinforced by other influencers as well. It seems he is alone. He is under pressure. Other Ethiopian influencers, other Ethiopian celebrities, they're not backing him. I have not seen other major voices backing Tariku. That is why perhaps he has been cornered and now he is breaking into tears on a TV just to say that I am with Ethiopians, I am not against their narrative, the narrative of Ethiopian government, and that don't see me as a TPLF supporter. So he is clarifying his position, it seems, in that EBS appearance. It seemed as if he was apologizing for what he said a few days ago at Addis Ababa rally. It's time for other Ethiopian influencers, other Tigrayan influencers, celebrities, politicians, actors, religious leaders, social media activists. It's time for all of them to call for peace. Back him. His call is rational. His call is genuine. He is an Ethiopian. He is talking for Ethiopia. He is not supporting any party in this conflict. Secondly, viewers, PM Abiy Ahmed just a few hours ago held a telephonic conversation with Justin Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister. After this telephonic conversation, both Prime Ministers issued statements on their Twitter accounts. The statements seem to be opposite to each other. Ethiopian PM Abiy said that he discussed with Justin Trudeau bilateral issues, and he appreciates Justin Trudeau's support of Ethiopian government. But Justin Trudeau in his tweet said that the talk was around the ongoing conflict in Ethiopia, and Canadian government supported a national dialogue in the conversation, and it called for unhindered humanitarian access. You see, the statement of PM Abiy and of Justin Trudeau, they are opposite. PM Abiy is saying that only bilateral issues were discussed. Trudeau is saying that Ethiopian conflict came under discussion. Ethiopia is one of the largest recipients of Canadian assistance funds, and Ethiopian government, I think last month, granted mining licenses to some foreign companies. And one of those companies was from Canada, which was granted a license to extract gold, chlorine, marble, and other types of minerals and other types of metals. So it seems that both were trying to clarify their positions when we saw statements from them. Ethiopian PM tried to create this impression that Canada was just interested in bilateral relations. But Canada says that no, main topic of today's telephonic conversation was the ongoing conflict in Ethiopia. Canada has been under pressure from TPLF supporters who have been calling upon Canada to put pressure upon Ethiopian government. Linus Yom, Ethiopian PM office spokesperson, is from Canada. She has a Canadian citizenship. Lastly was Dr. Tedros, head of WHO, Tigran, just a few hours ago, talked about ongoing humanitarian crisis in Ethiopia. He said that Tigray was under a systematic blockade and WHO was unable to send any medicines to Tigray. But he quoted some numbers which I find hard to agree with. He said that 7 million people have been affected by this war, and majority of them, around 5 million, are still in Tigray. These numbers are contested by Amhara regional government. Amhara region says that only in Amhara region, more than 5 million have been affected by this war. And figures of Amhara region are very credible. I mean, the war has spread into several parts of Amhara now, from Waghimra, North Wollo, South Wollo, Romia Special Zone, North Shore Zone. It's spreading towards Gojam. Definitely people affected by war in Amhara region is larger than quoted by Dr. Tedros. Millions have been affected in Amhara region as well, viewers. Yes, people who are IDPs in Amhara, they can be around 2 million, 1 to 2 million. But people affected by this war are much more than the number quoted by Dr. Tedros. And what about Afar, viewers? In previous videos, I talked about Afar, that situation is worsening there as well. All supplies from Cambodia, food supplies, electricity supply, all have been cut off to Afar. People are in need of aid there too, in need of clean drinking water too. Yes, Tigray is seeing a catastrophe. It does not mean that nothing is happening in Amhara, in Afar. Number of people affected by this war in Amhara is now in millions, viewers. Aid is not reaching in those areas as well, which are under TDF in Amhara region, because fighting is going on there. Because it's not possible for aid agencies to reach those areas. So overall, catastrophe, humanitarian disaster which started in Tigray has spread into Amhara, into Afar regions. But Tigray is inaccessible. Tigray cannot be reached because it's under a blockade. Yes, here I would agree with Dr. Tedros that Tigray is definitely under a blockade, an intentional blockade. Ethiopian government has put this blockade on Tigray. Watch a video clip showing Dr. Tedros talking about the numbers, number of people affected by this war in Tigray and Amhara, Afar regions. Thanks for watching.
The situation in Ethiopia is really distressing. And of course, until recently, the crisis was in Tigray, but now the war has spread to Amhara and Afar regions. So the number of people who have been affected is more than 7 million now, but most of it still is in Tigray, 5 million people who need food aid. And this has been the case for more than a year now. No medicines. People are dying because of lack of supplies. We cannot send supplies and medicine to Tigray because it's under blockade. And the blockade is systematic. So no medicine, people are dying. No food, people are starving. No telecommunication, they're isolated from the rest of the world. No fuel, no cash. So it's under effective blockade. So you can imagine the impact of that on the health of people. Not only all the health problems that are deteriorating, but also mental health. For more than a year now, under full stress because of the blockade. But even more, as you know, ethnic Tigrayans are being profiled and arrested in mass, in thousands. This is blatant and open. And imagine how that also affects the health of many millions. So from our side, because of the blockade, we are not supporting the people who need support because it's under full